All right, everybody, get ready, because we're diving into a world where things get a little heated today, a little explosive. We're talking pyrotechnics.
Definitely exciting stuff.
I've got a feeling this is going to be a blast. And you know what's really got me fired up?
What's that?
All the amazing source material you sent over. Career guides, interview tips, even insights into the job market trends. It's like you've assembled the ultimate starter kit for aspiring pyrotechnicians.
Well, it's definitely a career path that sparks a lot of curiosity. People see those incredible fireworks displays, those perfectly timed explosions on a concert stage, and they can't help but wonder what it takes to be the maestro behind those fire spectacles.
Right. I mean, I always pictured someone pushing a button on a pre-programmed show, but the RoleCatcher guide you shared paints a much more intricate picture. They use phrases like meticulous planning, unwavering commitment to safety. It's serious business.
Absolutely. You're talking about controlled explosions, often near large crowds. It's not just about creating a spectacle, it's about ensuring it unfolds safely and precisely as planned.
Which makes perfect sense when you think about it. It's not like setting off bottle rockets in your backyard, right? These folks are dealing with some seriously powerful stuff. So, where do we even begin? I mean, what's the starting point for someone who dreams of a career in pyrotechnics?
Well, the RoleCatcher Guide actually emphasizes practical experience above all else.
So, no, become a pyrotechnician overnight crash courses then.
Not quite. While a related degree can be helpful, the real learning happens on the job. Think apprenticeships, internships, volunteering for smaller events. That hands-on experience is invaluable.
So it's like learning a trade, you need a mentor to show you the ropes, literally, when it comes to pyrotechnics.
Exactly. You can't just jump into this field without a solid understanding of how everything works. And that brings us to another crucial aspect, technical expertise.
Okay, so let's talk technical skills. What are we talking about here? What does someone need to know to thrive in this field?
Well, you need a deep understanding of how pyrotechnic systems operate, from the chemical composition of fireworks to the intricacies of electronic firing systems. You need to know how each element interacts, how to troubleshoot problems under pressure, and how to ensure everything goes off without a hitch.
And of course, we can't forget the safety aspect. It's not just about protecting yourself, but also the audience, the performers, everyone involved, right?
Exactly. Pyrotechnicians need to be well-versed in safety protocols, risk assessment, emergency procedures, the works. Remember, you're dealing with potentially dangerous materials, so a calm demeanor under pressure is essential.
You can't exactly freak out when you're surrounded by explosives.
Exactly. The guide actually emphasizes the importance of teamwork and communication in this field.
It's not a one-man show then.
Not at all. Pyrotechnics often involves large crews working in tight coordination. Clear communication, especially in high-pressure situations, can be the difference between a show-stopping performance and, well, a disaster.
Right. Communication is key in any field, but it takes on a whole new level of importance when you're dealing with pyrotechnics. Now, let's be realistic for a moment. How competitive is the job market for aspiring pyrotechnicians?
It's a niche field, that's for sure. But the guide actually paints a surprisingly optimistic picture.
Oh, tell me more.
It seems that everyone loves a good fireworks show because projections show continued growth in the industry.
That's great news for anyone dreaming of a career in pyrotechnics. But I imagine standing out from the crowd takes more than just ticking those basic skill boxes, right?
Mhm.
What does the guide recommend for getting noticed in this competitive field?
Building a killer portfolio is essential. Think high-quality photos and videos of your best work, detailed descriptions of the projects you've been involved in, anything that showcases your unique skills and experience.
It's like a demo reel of your most impressive explosions.
Precisely. But it's not just about flashy visuals. You need to back it up with substance. Highlight your role in each project, the challenges you faced, how you ensured safety, the creative solutions you brought to the table. Make them see you as an invaluable asset.
It's about telling your story as a pyrotechnician. Now, speaking of getting your foot in the door, I'm curious about how RoleCatcher fits into all of this. The guide mentions it as a valuable resource for job seekers, but what makes this platform stand out from the crowd?
Imagine having a personalized career assistant in your pocket, guiding you through every step of the job hunt. That's RoleCatcher in a nutshell.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Break it down for our listeners. What are some of the features that are particularly useful for aspiring pyrotechnicians?
Well, for starters, their job board. It aggregates postings from multiple sources, including their own niche job board, so no more endlessly scrolling through generic job sites. It's all about targeted opportunity.
Oh, that's a huge time saver. What else?
They have this AI-powered tool that analyzes job descriptions and identifies those must-have skills, then helps you tailor your CV or resume to match, increasing your chances of getting noticed.
It's like having a secret decoder ring for those cryptic job postings. So you're not just applying blindly, you're strategically showcasing your relevant experience.
Hmm.
Love it. What else does RoleCatcher have to offer?
Well, they also have this massive database of interview questions,
Mhm.
categorized by career and skill, so you can practice answering the ones that matter most in the pyrotechnics world.
Okay, so it's like having a cheat sheet for your dream job interview. I love it. You know, it's funny how we often only see the end result, that jaw-dropping firework burst, the perfectly timed explosion on a concert stage, but we rarely think about all the work that goes on behind the scenes.
It's like enjoying a delicious meal, right? We savor the flavors, but rarely stop to consider the sourcing of the ingredients, the chef's technique, the years of practice, the trial and error. Pyrotechnics, much like any other art form, thrives on that unseen dedication.
And speaking of unseen dedication, the RoleCatcher Guide dives into some really fascinating industry trends that are shaping the future of pyrotechnics. It's not all about bigger explosions and louder bangs anymore, huh?
Not at all. One of the big things is this push towards environmentally friendly pyrotechnics.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, traditional fireworks, they release a whole bunch of not-so-great stuff into the air,
Exactly. Smoke, heavy metals, you name it. Definitely not the best for the environment.
which in our increasingly eco-conscious world is a major concern. So what are they doing about it? What are some of the solutions they're exploring?
Well, one thing they're experimenting with is using nitrogen-based propellants.
Okay, and how does that help?
It's a cleaner alternative to the traditional black powder, significantly reduces those smoke emissions, which are a major contributor to air pollution, especially during those large-scale displays.
That's incredible. So they're basically tweaking the chemical composition to make it more environmentally friendly. I never would have thought of that. Are there any other innovations in the works?
They're also developing biodegradable firework casings.
Biodegradable firework casings. Tell me more.
So traditionally, after a fireworks show, you're left with all that debris, right? Well, these new casings are designed to break down naturally, which minimizes the waste and reduces the environmental impact.
That's amazing. It's encouraging to see the pyrotechnics industry really embracing sustainability. Now, the guide also hints at some really cool high-tech advancements. Earlier, we were talking about drone technology. How does that play into pyrotechnics?
So imagine this. Instead of just fireworks, you have a swarm of hundreds of synchronized drones lighting up the night sky. Each drone basically becomes a pixel, creating moving images, logos, even messages, all choreographed to music.
Oh, wow. That's next level stuff. Talk about an unforgettable light show. It seems like the creative possibilities with drones are pretty much endless. Are there any other cool technological advancements that have caught your eye?
The guide actually mentions virtual reality and augmented reality as emerging tools.
Really, for pyrotechnics.
Yeah. Imagine instead of relying on 2D blueprints, you're using VR to experience a fireworks display in 3D. You can walk through the display, fine-tune the timing, the angles. You can even see how it interacts with the music, the environment.
Wow, that's like having a pyrotechnics simulator. What a game changer for design. But with all this talk about technology, I have to wonder, is there still a place for, well, good old-fashioned human creativity in this field?
Absolutely. Technology is a powerful tool, no doubt, but the human element, the artistry, the vision, that's what brings it all together. It's like a painter using a new type of brush. The tool might be different, but the artistic expression remains the same.
I like that analogy. So we've got eco-friendly fireworks, drone light shows, VR design tools. The future of pyrotechnics sounds pretty bright, no pun intended. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, I have to ask, are there any fun facts or surprising tidbits in the guide that we can use to impress our friends at our next BBQ?
You bet. Did you know that the largest fireworks display ever recorded used over 810,000 fireworks?
810,000? You're kidding.
Nope. It happened in Kuwait back in 2011 and took months of planning.
Wow, I can only imagine the logistical nightmare of coordinating that many explosives. And to think I get stressed out planning a birthday party.
Right. Here's another fun one for you. The word pyrotechnics actually comes from the Greek words pyr, meaning fire, and technikos, which means art. So literally translated, it means the art of fire.
Wow, I never knew that. But it's so fitting, the art of fire. It really captures the essence of pyrotechnics. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the career guide, all the insights it provided, but I want to circle back to RoleCatcher and its role in all of this. What are your thoughts on it as a tool for navigating this exciting field?
You know what impresses me most about RoleCatcher? It's not just the individual features, it's how they all work together. It's like they've created this comprehensive career platform that really has it all.
It's like having a Swiss Army knife for your career. There's a tool for every situation. We've talked
Yeah.
about the job board, the CV analysis, the interview prep, but honestly, it goes even deeper than that.
Deeper in what way? What else does it offer? One of the standout features is their career compass. Basically, you input your skills, your interests, even your dream scenario, and it maps out potential career paths within pyrotechnics.
It actually helps you figure out what you want to do.
In a way, yeah. It highlights roles you might never have even considered. And it helps you discover new areas of interest, connect with potential mentors, just generally stay in the loop about what's happening in the industry.
Networking is so crucial in any field, but especially one as specialized as this one. It's not just what you know, it's who you know, right?
Exactly. And RoleCatcher just makes that whole networking process so much smoother. And then there's the learning aspect.
Learning, what do you mean?
Well, in a field like pyrotechnics, things are constantly changing. New technology pops up, safety regulations get updated. RoleCatcher has this curated library of resources, articles, webinars, courses. It's designed to keep you up to date and constantly learning.
So it's like having a personalized professional development platform right at your fingertips. That's pretty awesome.
It really is. It's all about continuous learning, pushing the boundaries, and never losing that initial spark of passion for the art of fire.
Well said. But before we get totally lost in the metaphorical flames of inspiration, I think it's time to bring this pyrotechnics discussion back down to earth, at least for a little bit. We've talked a
Mhm.
lot about the skills, the technology, the trends, but what about that crucial moment, the interview?
Right, the interview. That's where preparation meets opportunity. Luckily, the RoleCatcher Guide has some great tips on how to really ace that interview and make a lasting impression.
All right, so let's get down to it. The interview. I think for a lot of people, this is the most nerve-wracking part of any job search. So for all those aspiring pyrotechnicians out there, what does the RoleCatcher Guide recommend for really nailing that interview?
Well, first and foremost, be ready to dive into specifics.
Specifics. Okay, so not just, I love fireworks, right?
Right, exactly. They want to hear about actual projects you've worked on, skills you've mastered,
hmm
specific safety protocols you've implemented. Show them you understand the nitty-gritty.
So it's about connecting the dots between your experience and what the job actually requires. Like if a company specializes in those synchronized drone light shows we were talking about, you wouldn't just talk about your general pyrotechnics knowledge, would you?
Exactly. You'd want to highlight any experience you have with drones, programming, even if it's from a hobbyist perspective.
Yeah.
Demonstrate that you're adaptable, eager to learn new things, and can bring something unique to the table.
It's all about showing them you're not a one-trick pony. Now, the guide also talks about the STAR method for answering interview questions. Can you refresh our memory on what that is again?
Sure, so STAR stands for Situation, Task, Action, Result.
Okay. And how would you use that in an interview setting?
It's a way to structure your answers, so you're telling a compelling story that really showcases your skills in action.
Can you give me an example?
Let's say the interviewer asks, tell me about a time you faced a challenge on the job and how you overcame it.
Classic interview question. Most of us have been there.
Right. So instead of giving some vague answer, you'd use the STAR method to describe a specific situation, maybe a technical malfunction during a show setup. Then you outline your task troubleshooting the firing system, under pressure perhaps. Then you detail the actions you took, emphasizing your problem-solving skills, your safety awareness. And finally, you wrap it up by describing the positive result, how you saved the day, and ensured the show went on without a hitch.
It's like turning those gotcha questions into opportunities to highlight your expertise. Love it. Now, something else the guide stresses is that safety is a major focal point during pyrotechnician interviews. What's your take on that?
Oh, absolutely. Safety is paramount in this field, so be prepared to discuss specific protocols, regulations, best practices, show them you know your stuff.
Okay, so it's not enough to just say, I'm safety conscious, you need to prove it.
Right, like you could talk about how you would conduct a risk assessment for a fireworks display near a wooded area, taking into account things like wind direction, fire hazards, all those important factors.
It's about showing them that you're not just following a checklist, you're thinking critically about safety in a real-world context. Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier, passion. We've talked about skills, technology, all the practical stuff, but at the end of the day, what role does passion play in all of this?
It's huge. Interviewers They can tell when someone's genuinely excited about their work, so don't be afraid to let that enthusiasm shine through.
So talk about what truly inspires you about pyrotechnics.
Exactly. Whether it's the history of fireworks, the science behind those vibrant colors, the challenge of designing a perfectly timed show, whatever it is, let them see that spark.
Show them you're not just there for the explosions, you're there to contribute your unique creativity and passion to this amazing field. Well said. And hey, remember, RoleCatcher can be your secret weapon throughout this whole journey. But ultimately, it's your dedication, your passion, that spark that'll really make you stand out and ignite your pyrotechnics career. Well, folks, that about wraps up our explosive deep dive into the world of pyrotechnics. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the essential skills and qualifications to the latest industry trends and even those all-important interview tips.
But remember, the learning never stops. The field is constantly evolving, so stay curious, keep exploring, and who knows, maybe one day you'll be the one orchestrating those dazzling displays that leave audiences in awe.
And until next time, keep reaching for the stars.